everyone, welcome back to Quirky Pineapples. If you're new here, I'm Vina, a plant-based recipe developer and food blogger, and I'm back with another meal prep video. So it's Sunday, so I'm all ready to meal prep for the week. This week's meal prep is going to require as minimal cooking as possible. So we've got two things going on the skillet. We've got just a few things that are going to go into the oven periodically through the week. But I'm still trying to figure out the absolute easiest way to meal prep where I can get it chunked down to 2 hours or less. Now, in my case, of course, it takes a little bit more time because I'm recording, but I'm trying different ways to see if I can do it while recording down to 2 hours, because that means that for you it would maybe be an hour, hour and a half. So we'll see. But what we're making today, let me grab my handy dandy iPad with all my recipes and information. So this week I'm focusing a little bit more on protein, just a tad. So I am going to make my chocolate peanut butter banana protein shakes. I'm just going to make two so that they're ready to go for tomorrow, so Monday. And then I'll make them like maybe nightly the night before. And then one of the reasons I want to focus just a little bit more on protein is because I am doing mat Pilates throughout the week, or at least I plan to do some mat Pilates throughout the week. So I want to make sure that I'm getting everything I need for that, just for some muscle recovery, because I know I'm going to be a little bit sore. But yes, so lunches and dinners. Oh, I almost skipped breakfast. Breakfast will be tofu scramble burritos. I think this one's going to be the only thing that incorporates tofu this time. I'm going to make some Thai red curry meatballs with rice and green beans. I've been really craving green beans lately, so I thought that I'd add that in. Plus, I want kind of like a crunchy vegetable. And then I'm going to make my chickpea salad. I think I'm going to omit a few things from that recipe just because I'm kind of not in the mood for onions. But this is a recipe that I've made many, many times, and it's on my website. And then I think with the bento box, like I bought things like crackers, some cucumbers, tomatoes, some kiwis to go in there, and even a little bit of vegan cheese. And then I am going to make a harissa salad bowl. I'm just going to ingredient prep this. So what's it's going to entail is like some kale and salad greens, maybe some baked tofu. Oopsie, I forgot. I'm going to have to prep some tofu. Some roasted sweet potato, roasted cauliflower, maybe a little bit of pomegranate, cilantro. I have some vegan feta, and then I'm going to make like a quick harissa dressing with like yogurt and harissa, a little bit of lemon juice, like all that. I'll explain as I go. But yes, I'm still in my salad kind of era right now. I like being able to just toss together a quick salad during the week. At dinner time. So most times I don't really prep the salads for lunch, but it just depends on how I'm feeling. But I'm really in the mood for like a good, deep, flavorful salad full of like lots of different veggies. So I'm going to be doing that. Now, I'm not going to roast anything today. I'm going to actually just prep it and get them all ready, like oven ready, so that when we're ready to start making salad bowls, maybe tomorrow night or Tuesday night, we can just throw those items into the oven and get them all roasted and ready to go. And then we'll continue, having those salads throughout the week. So this is how we're going to try to extend those meals for a full 5 days. But yeah, so I am excited. I'm always excited, huh? Every time I say that, I'm excited. So I am going to dive in. The weather is getting a little bit warmer, so I do want to try to get this done before. If I can try to get things done before noon, I'll be happy, but we'll see. Like I said, recording makes it a little bit longer. I'm listening to an audiobook this time. I think I'm going to start maybe the first, I don't know, hour or so listening to an audiobook, and then I might put on like a movie. I think I want to watch Ratatouille. I don't know, like a Disney movie or something like that. But yeah, but the audiobook that I'm listening to right now, and I'll like put it up on the screen. I'm listening to Yellowface by R.F. quang, and it's actually really good. It's really good. I'm not going to go through the whole description because, it's not about the book, it's about the meal prep. But remember, I told you meal prep becomes a little bit easier if you can find something to sort of anchor you into the activity. And for me, it's listening to podcasts, listening to music, an audiobook, or tossing on a movie. So I think for the first half, yeah, I'm going to listen to my audiobook, and then I'm going to put on like a nice entertaining movie that I can listen to in the background. Something I've watched before where I don't have to like pay attention to see what's happening next. Like just something that is soothing in the background. So yeah. All right. So I think I've given you all the information that you need. And then, of course, don't worry. When we get to the end, I'll show you everything that I've prepped all together. And then I'll even continue to show you how I put things together during the week. Like, for example, you're not going to see the salad all put together and everything like that. So, yeah, let's get started. Let's get started. All right, so let's get started with that tofu scramble. I'm going to put some hot oil in my pan and add in my peppers. I'm just using a frozen pepper mix to make things a lot simpler. And then I'm going to crumble up my tofu. Sometimes when I do my tofu scramble, I'll wait for things to like brown and caramelize. But in this case, because we're putting them in burritos, I'm pretty much just going to get everything in the pan at one time. And then usually I'll let these brown for just a little bit of time before adding my spices. I like to add in a little bit of curry powder, or actually kind of a lot, some black pepper, some garlic powder, onion powder, a little bit of salt, and then sometimes I will add in some kala namak. I didn't quite do that this time. And then I'll add in some turmeric for color. And then there's no tofu scramble without some nutritional yeast. So I like to give this a stir, add a little bit of water, and then allow this to simmer until, most of the water has evaporated. And then, of course, to save ourselves some time, I'm going to transfer this from my cooktop to my stove so that it can continue cooking while I get started on the next thing. Okay, so while I was prepping that tofu scramble, I had my oven preheating at 425. So now let's go ahead and chop up our potatoes. I'm just going to chop these up into like quarters or bite-sized pieces, kind of depending on the size of each potato. And then I'm going to toss them in a little bit of oil and some salt, just something simple because these are going to go inside of the breakfast burritos. And then I'm going to bake them until they're nice and crispy. I have a lot of potatoes here, so I'm not going to use all of them, but what I don't use, I'm just going to store in the freezer for the next time I might want to roast up some potatoes. Okay, let's move on to that Thai red curry meatball dish. I'm just going to start out by browning my meatballs. These are just some regular store-bought meatballs that I got from Trader Joe's. They're, of course, the veggie ones, and they're actually quite delicious and sturdy, which was really important because these are going to stew in that Thai red curry sauce or soup. And so to make the base, I'm going to add in some ginger, some garlic, some red Thai curry. I'm going to give that a little stir so that it can caramelize a little bit before adding in my coconut milk. And then I'm going to give this a nice stir just to get some of those bits from the bottom before adding in some soy sauce and a little bit of agave. I'm going to bring this up to a nice simmer before adding the meatballs back to the pot. so that they can kind of finish off and soak up some of those flavors. Alright, so now I'm moving on to my chickpea salad. I love making this as something really quick and kind of refreshing to have for lunch, especially since we're in the warmer months. I do have a curry version of this, but we're already having curry, so I'm just going to do sort of my more relaxed version. But don't let that fool you. There's a lot of flavor in this particular chickpea salad. So I'm of course going to start out by chopping up my needed veggies and my apple. I've just got some green onion, cilantro, and apple here. I have a lot of extra, or not cilantro, a lot of extra green onion, so I'm going to store those in a jar to use for something else a little bit later. I like to blend up my chickpeas in a food processor because it's just so much easier than trying to mash it with a fork. But I really love this recipe because, like I said, even though it's kind of basic and it literally takes like 5 minutes to make, it is full of flavor. So aside from what I've chopped up, to my mayo, I'm going to add in some dried chives, a little bit of salt, and some smoked paprika. I also like to add some garlic powder, and depending on how I'm feeling, I'll add in some onion powder too. And then I just give that a good mix, and that is ready to go. When meal prepping, the rice cooker is going to be your best friend. So of course, I'm just going to get my rice going. And then it's time for me to prep my tofu. Like I said, this is going to be for my harissa salad. This is my basic tofu marinade of soy sauce and rice vinegar. Give it a shake and let it marinate. This is going to marinate for like a day, so it'll be really good and full of flavor. Then I'm just trimming up some green beans that I've washed. This is going to go into a container on top of my nice little cloth just to keep it from getting soggy and gross. Same thing with my kale. I'm just going to prep that, get it all washed up, and put it away in a container so that when I'm ready to have like my salad during the week, it'll already be ready to go. Same thing with those green beans. I like to have my green beans fresh, so it's nice to have them prepped, and then I'll just throw them on the stove, and they only take about 5-7 minutes to cook if you saute them, and that way they're nice and crispy. I'm also going to get my cauliflower ready because that's going to be roasted along with my Japanese sweet potato. Like I said, ingredient prepping is going to help a lot because I don't have to do all of this during the week. When I'm ready to have this particular dish, I can just oil everything up, put it in the oven, and have it ready. All right, so now we're in the home stretch. We are now ready to store things. I'm just putting my red Thai curry meatballs into an airtight container. They've sat for a while and cooled, so they'll be ready to put in the fridge. And now that my potatoes are all done, I'm also going to roll up my burritos. Yes, I can see that my tortillas are a little bit bigger than what they should be. I usually buy smaller tortillas, which next time I'll make sure that I do, because I was only really able to get 4 out of these because I stuffed them quite a bit because I didn't just want a ton of tortilla. But I was able to make 4 with these larger tortillas, but if you use smaller tortillas, you can probably get about 6 to 8 burritos for the week. And so what I did is I put 2 in the fridge, and then I put 2 in the freezer because we weren't sure that we were going to like eat all of them right away. Like some mornings we might have just had like our protein shake. So yeah, it's kind of fun and therapeutic to wrap burritos, I realize. All right, the final thing is the chocolate peanut butter protein shake. If you are not blending your protein shakes with other things, I'm convinced that you hate life. So this is the protein that I usually use. I've been using it for years. It is delicious. And I just like to blend it up with some frozen banana, some peanut butter, and then of course like my favorite like plant milk. In this case, I'm using soy milk, and it just comes out so rich and creamy and delicious. I usually add in some cinnamon for a little extra kick, and it tastes so good. Alrighty, so I am all done with meal prep, at least for today, because some items it's better to just make it a little bit later in the week and they don't take a lot of time. And so, what I have currently prepped is my red Thai curry meatballs. I've got my white rice all ready to go. I have my green beans washed, and I wanted to put them in a different package because I noticed when they're in the plastic packaging, they get a little like soggy and from being wet. So I just lined them with a little bit of cloth so that they can stay dry and crisp. And then what I'll do is saute them maybe in a little bit of olive oil and like some garlic and all that to go along with this. I've got my chickpea salad that is going to go into a nice bento box for lunch during the week, and I'll make sure that I show you guys that. I've got some breakfast burritos for the days where we have a couple of days out of the week where we leave really early in the morning, and so it's nice to just grab something really quick out of the fridge. I ended up getting tortillas that were way too big. I probably could have made more in like smaller burritos, but I ended up, like I said, these were available at the store. They're a little big, but they work. And then I've got some tofu that's gonna marinate for the next like day because tomorrow I'll be fixing salad. So I did get some of my salad fixings together. I've got my kale all washed. I do have some salad greens in the fridge. They're in the bag, they're fine. No need to package those. I cut up some more Japanese sweet potato because that's what I'm into right now, and some cauliflower, and these two will be roasted to go on the salad. I'm going to make the salad dressing actually tomorrow when I am ready to start making the salads. That way the dressing will last a little longer because once everything's all baked and prepped, we'll be having the salads from tomorrow ongoing. And then I have a few of my chocolate peanut butter protein shakes that are ready to go also for in the morning time. So yeah, decided not to do a smoothie just because I feel like this was quite a bit already. But yeah, I'll continue on and show you guys how I put all this together through the week so that we have meals. I feel like the whole purpose is to just cut down on the amount of work that you're doing during the actual week. So when you get home, you get off work, the last thing that you want to do is chopping and mixing things up or rolling up burritos for the next day. So everything is already just there and ready. And you may have to do a few little things, but not nearly as much. So like roasting will take place in the week, but that's not so bad. I'm going to toss these in some olive oil, throw them in the oven, and then it's a good time to do that while I take my shower and get myself wound down for the night. And then by the time I'm done doing that, these are done and I can put my salad together. So yeah, so like I said, I'm going to show you how I put all this together throughout the week, which is kind of nice. And then yeah, I will show you how everything's put together during the week. So here is how we had our red Thai curry meatballs. This was so delicious. And in the morning, it was really easy to put together the bento box. I just added in some chickpea salad, some tomatoes, some cucumbers, pineapple, my favorite crackers, and vegan cheese. And this is how my little bento box looked for work. And then here is the dressing for the salad. This was really easy to make, super tasty. I just added yogurt with some harissa paste, some garlic powder, some cumin and coriander, a little squeeze of lemon, and a little salt to taste. And to bring the heat down a little bit, just a skosh of agave. It was so good. And I just got my greens all prepared, added in those roasted sweet potatoes, some roasted cauliflower, added on my tofu, and sprinkled it with that sauce along with some pomegranate seeds and a little sprinkling of some vegan feta. This salad was so bomb. Have it, another successful week of meal prep. I really hope that you found this video to be helpful, that you got some great meal ideas for the week so that you can keep some variety in your life. Again, we don't want boring meal prep throughout the week. Hopefully, this makes everything a lot easier for you. Some of these recipes are going to be on quirkypineapples.com. Any others, I will make sure that I link in the description box below. If you haven't already signed up for my free grocery and nutrition guide, then make sure you do so. I'll be sure to put the QR code here in the corner as well as my QR code for quirkypineapples.com. But yeah, thanks so much for joining me yet again for another video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.